Today, I kind of thought I would just sit and chit chat with you guys. I feel like I'm finally in my quiet era. I think I would have loved to have gotten pregnant in my dream world ended this year, early next year. I gotta start taking this. I gotta change this. I gotta do this. I gotta work out. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I've always felt like I'm too much. And even when I do stand in my kitchen and I talk for 40 minutes, I'm like, what could you have even said?
The following podcast is a Dear Media production.
Pretty basic. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Pretty Basic. I'm your co-host, Remi Parsons, and today I'm bringing you another solo episode, but this one is different because I've done a few solos on this podcast before. I always get so nervous. I don't know why. It's just me and you sitting here in this very beautifully lit studio. But whenever I've done a solo on this podcast, I do a Q&A, so I'm prompted with questions. But today, I kind of thought I would just sit and chit chat with you guys, and I'm just acting like I am standing in my kitchen vlogging. And if you guys know, you know. I mean, most of my vlogs are just me standing in the kitchen talking, and I will talk for what I think is going to be a 3-minute clip, and it ends up being a 40-minute clip. So that's what you're going to get today. If you are not subscribed to my vlog channel, feel free to check it out. I post a lot of vlogs over there, and I'm going to be so honest. I have things to tell you today, but also my life has been quite boring lately, but in the best way. This year has been such an amazing year, the best year of my life. And I'm so grateful, and so many monumental life changes and things have happened, but I feel like I'm finally in my lull quiet era in the best way. Right now, I mean, things have just been so crazy. Obviously, we talked about that in the last episode. I don't have to go into that again, but finally, I feel like I'm in this time that I've been so looking forward to for a year now of just quietness before things come back up again. I got a comment the other day that was like, Remi, what's the next project? Nothing. I've got literally nothing up my sleeve, and I'm very happy about it. I'm very grateful. I'm grateful for all the things, but also I do think it's so important to, in life in general, to really appreciate the quiet moments and the stillness. I don't know if I ever talked about this before, but in the last episode, Alicia and I were joking about how sometimes I can be quite morbid, and I don't know about you guys, but maybe I'm just a weirdo. Also, I think I've talked about how I will have physical hand pain when I watch people really in love. No one's ever commented and told me that you have the same thing, so I really do feel like a weirdo. But I will often catch moments of quietness in my life where everybody's healthy, everybody's happy around me, my close friends and family, everyone's doing well. And it'll kind of creep up on me where I'm oh my God, everybody's really good right now, as far as I know, obviously. And it's those times where I'm the most grateful I could ever be in my life. I really do appreciate those quiet, still moments. So that's kind of what I'm going through right now. And I'm very grateful. And there's been so much change and things happening this year, but I've just been living in our rental house, Cal, myself, the girls, and it's been really, really good. I just recently did a vlog titled Addressing Your Comments, which one big thing that I talked about that I thought was so funny because I got a lot of comments on TikTok where people talking about how the house that we're in right now, specifically the kitchen, because as I said, all I do is stand in the kitchen, but specifically how the kitchen is so small, quote, and not my words, quotations, so small, to some viewers. And I just have to say, Cal and I had a really beautiful conversation last night about it, because yes, the house that we are currently in, which I talked about this on the podcast already, but we're in a rental while we are kind of in a transitional period of time right now in our lives. And we are so happy. Although yes, factually, square footage wise, yes, we are in a smaller place than our old house, but we are so happy. I've never felt so full in my life for so many reasons. And I've said this before, but I really truly realized with getting married to Cal, and honestly, tangibly, physically, I've noticed now living in this house that I know home is where the heart is, as like home goods mug as that sounds. Like I could be anywhere with him and the dogs and I'm so happy and content. And it does not matter how many bedrooms a house has, how small or how big a kitchen is. Like it doesn't matter to me. But all of this to say, I thought it was so funny that I was getting comments on my TikTok about like my kitchen in the new house. And people were like, oh my gosh. Like I read one yesterday that made me laugh so hard because I just didn't realize people were so invested in my old kitchen. Like, trust me, I loved that kitchen and I loved that house. But like to me, and yes, like there were so many beautiful memories made in that house, but like, it's just a house. And like my home is where the love of my life is and where my babies are. All to say, I obviously talked about this in my vlog, but I'm actually really proud of myself because there was a time, and it might come back, but right now I'm in a really, really, really good place where any sort of comments that were not positive, whether it was like, people commenting on my appearance or people commenting about my personality or something that I said that maybe was taken out of context, or also even just like people saying things about my living situation right now, like trying, not being the nicest, would have really hurt my feelings, or just I would have felt like I wasn't good enough, or I would have felt like I had to prove something. And I can honestly say right now, I'm in a really good position where I know my truth. I know I'm so happy. Yes, of course. I know I keep using the kitchen as like a reference, but to me, I actually was just like laughing because I was like, oh my gosh, it's just a kitchen. Before I was blessed with the beautiful large kitchen and I love that kitchen so much. And like, yes, hosting in this new house will be a little bit more difficult, but we're going to make it work. I've got a roof over my head. I've got the love of my life. I have 3 dogs that are healthy. And, there was a moment where we were a little bit unsure because one of the girls was maybe not doing so well. We got her levels back up. Like, I'm just in a really good place. I'm really, really happy. Basically, I just know not that long ago, I was in a place where I would have been so affected by anyone saying anything about me, which is not a good place to be in when you have the job that I have. But it even reminds me of recently, I love Vanilla Mace. Also, I need everyone to know I did accidentally, which I need TikTok to change this. I was scrolling and Cutie Cinderella, shout out to her, made the most beautiful birthday cake ever for Vanilla Mace. Insane. If you guys didn't see it, it was like a waterfall meadow with calico critters, and it was so cute. I was watching, it was like a fan edit. I was watching, I was like, oh my God. And Vanilla had reposted it. So I was like, oh my God, so cute. And we are mutuals. And so my fat finger slipped, and I sent her a sad face or something. I sent literally a sad face to Vanilla Mace with the video, and then it went to like her DMs, and I absolutely freaked out because I've never messaged her because I cannot message the queen. And I can't fuck up the follow, If I do too much, she's gonna unfollow me. She might do that now. And so I like immediately went and unsent it. But then I was like, well, what if she sees like Remi unsent? So then I sent her a message. I was just like, hi, I'm so sorry. My finger slipped. And I sent something. I unsent it. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that, but I love you so much and happy belated birthday. And she replied, she said, thank you so much with a heart. So Vanilla, I love you. But I saw when she was streaming and someone clipped it and posted it, how she was saying that she got a TikTok of some girl. And she said like, she said she was scrolling and she got a TikTok on her For You page that had like 40 something likes. Like it was like a very small TikTok. And it's like, I've done that too before, where you get on there and you're like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here right now because someone's talking about you, whether it's good or bad. It's like, oh my God, like, was I supposed to see this? And the girl was like saying that she's like, oh, that Vanilla Mace girl, like, I don't like her. She's so sinister. Like the word sinister was really crazy. It was like, just like, ranting about her. And Vanilla Mace made a comment where she's just like, well, first off, I feel like I wasn't supposed to see that. And second off, like, it's just so crazy that so many people can like, they think they know you so well and they have this like opinion of you or like who you are as a person, or, say certain things about you that are not true, or just like believe certain things about you that are not true. And to some degree, I understand because yes, you are not seeing every aspect of me as a person, obviously. And again, things can get taken out of context. And honestly, like, sometimes I'm having a bad day and that's just normal. And sometimes I'm bitchy and sometimes I'm cranky and sometimes I'm too excited and sometimes I'm all these things.
Support for today's episode comes from Square, your all-in-one business partner that makes your day-to-day so much easier. From point-of-sale systems and payments to inventory and customer tools, Square brings everything together in one simple platform so you can stay organized, sell anywhere, and keep things moving. Running a small business looks different for everyone. That's why I love that Square gives business owners the tools to grow however they need to. It's flexible, easy to set up, and even lets you launch an online store in minutes, which is a lifesaver when you've got a million things on your plate. One of my favorite local restaurants uses Square for everything. Checkout is super quick, the card reader is sleek and modern, and everything works well with intention. I usually pay with Apple Pay, and it takes literal seconds. The staff are never stuck behind a clunky register, so they actually have time to talk to us about the menu, and we can just pay right there. What's also great about Square is how approachable it is. The design looks professional but not complicated, and the setup process is quick. You don't have to be tech savvy to get started. You can plug it in, connect your account, and start taking payments the same day. And it's not just for one kind of business. I've seen Square used everywhere: cafes, pop-ups, food trucks, even multi-location stores. It adjusts to whatever you need it to be. Behind the scenes, the software is just as impressive. You can track sales, monitor inventory, and see what products or services are performing best. Those built-in reports help you make smarter decisions and save time so you can focus on what actually matters: your customers and your growth. Square keeps up so you do not have to slow down. Get everything you need to run and grow your business without any long-term commitments. And right now, you can get up to $200 off Square hardware when you sign up at square.com/go/prettybasic. That's SQUARE.com/GO/prettybasic. Run your business smarter with Square and get started today. Something I've really learned as I've gotten older is that health isn't just about what you see on the outside. There's so much happening inside your body that you can't always feel until it becomes a bigger issue. I started using Function because it's the only health platform that gives me access to data most people never get and the insights to start doing something about it. I use Function and you should too. Inside Function, you can access testing over 100 biomarkers, including hormones, toxins, and markers of heart health, inflammation, and stress. You can also choose to access MRI or chest CT scans for an additional fee. That's why top health leaders like Dr. Mark Hyman, Dr. Amber Humerman, and Dr. Jeremy London are all behind Function Health. One of the biggest things that stood out to me was how autoimmunity can start long before most people realize it. Your immune system is supposed to protect you, but sometimes it misfires and begins attacking your own tissues. That can create inflammation and symptoms like fatigue, brain fog, or joint pain long before any diagnosis is made. The amazing thing about Function is that it gives you access to tests that can show early indicators of autoimmune activity. Also, most regular checkups do not include these markers, so autoimmune issues can go unnoticed until symptoms become much more intense. Function gives you access to these advanced tests so you can identify imbalances early, protect your energy, and support your long-term health. Function is for everyone, men and women, all adults over 18, no matter what stage of life you're in. I chose Function and you should too. To learn more and join, visit www.functionhealth.com/basic or use the gift code BASIC100 at sign-up. The first 1,000 listeners get a $100 credit toward their membership. Function gives you a near 360 view of what's happening in your body so you can take charge of your health today.
As you guys know, I've become quite the football girly, and I not only love the game, which I will get very into the game. I just watched a game the other day that was 4 hours long, and I was in it, believe it or not. But I also love the games for the snacks and for the drinks, and we are here today to tell you guys about Casamigos, Margs, and Margs. You heard me right. Margarita pizza and a margarita. How perfect is that?
No, it's the best pairing. It might even be better than like us as a duo. I'm lying. But I will say it's a close second. We call it Margs and Margs. And I just love a low lift hosting situation. So when people come over, they want a margarita. I'm like, I got you. Casamigos margaritas. And then we need to host something simple. Let's order some margarita pizzas to match our Casamigos margaritas.
If you watch any of our party vlogs, if you ever see a party bus, wherever we are partying, there will always be bottles of Casamigos there because everybody loves Casamigos and anything goes with Casamigos.
It's true.
So if you guys are hosting your next watch party, you have to check out the Casamigos Margs and Margs pairing guide. They have your back covered. Again, if you need any sort of margarita recipes, pizza pairings, they've got you.
Throw a party, theme margarita, and you will blow everyone's minds when you have margarita pizzas everywhere, along with your Casamigos margarita.
Wait, I love the theme.
Margarita.
Just head to tinyurl.com/margsandmargs to check it out. That's tinyurl.com/margsandmargs for your own Casamigos Margs and Margs pairing guide today.
Please drink responsibly. Casamigos Tequila, 40% alc/volume, imported by Casamigos Spirits Company, LLC, White Plains, New York. Please do not forward to anyone under 21.
Just thought that was funny and like something that I resonate so much with. And I think a lot of creators who put themselves out so much feel. But also I've really come to terms, like, again, that's something I think I would have used to be really, really, really sad about if I came across a TikTok and someone was saying something bad about me. And I have done that before. And it really hurts my feelings. And I think before I would have cried myself to sleep. I would have like spiraled about it over and over and over and over and over again. And I just like would have been in a really dark place. I think if I saw it, I'd be like, okay, well, could it be potentially accurate? Like, are they saying this based off of like, maybe I did say something that was mean, that maybe I was having a bad day. Like, I really do try to keep myself in check like that. I am just in a place where I've done this long enough that I've gained a good sense of an understanding of kind of how it works a little bit more. I think I just understand a little bit more, and I never want to blame the people because everyone's entitled to have their own opinion, obviously. And like, I was thinking about this today. Like, there are creators that I also don't like. There are creators that I full on block because I just don't want to see their content. But also, I cannot fathom the idea of like this girl to Vanilla Mace or someone who's watching me that they don't like, or anybody. If there's creators out there that you don't like, that's so fine. Like, we are not meant to like everybody in this earth. I always remember when I joined my sorority back in college and I, went through the initiation and everything. I was like, wait, not everybody's obsessed with each other? Like, this is crazy. And then I remember one of my sisters, I think it was Steph. Someone explained to me, they're like, Rem, there are 100 girls in this room. There is no world where like 100 girls are all going to get along with each other, and that's okay. And I was like, wait, you're so right. Like, it's human nature. We gravitate towards some people. We don't towards other people. But what I can't fathom is continuously watching their content. Like that girl who didn't like Vanilla Mace, I hope that she just blocked her and then didn't have to see it, because like, why put yourself through seeing someone that you don't like and that bothers you? Like, completely fine to not like someone. I do think making the TikTok was not nice. Like, you don't need to publicly say it, but like, text your friends about it. If you're like, oh my God, that girl bothers me, or you know what I mean? Like keep it private. I think that's totally fine. I don't think we need to make it a public thing. I assume that girl probably wanted that TikTok to do really well and people to like bandwagon, or I see those TikToks a lot of times where it's like creators or like people will go on and be like, I hate this creator. Like, does anybody else hate this creator? And then all the comments are like talking about how much they hate this person, or like, oh yeah, I hate her and her sister, or like her friend. I'm always just like, it's just breeding so much negativity. It's okay to not like someone. It's okay to, think certain things or, whatever. But I just don't think we need to publicly say or comment it. Even the kitchen is fine. I think it's funny. But like, also at the end of the day, like, it's going to be okay. Like, it's just a kitchen and it's cooking my food and I get to, feed Cal and my dogs in it. And that's all that matters. So that was such a long tangent. Something that also popped up in my head that I kept filed back here to bring up now is I talked about earlier how I have in the past felt like I was not enough or I'm not good enough or anything like that. And I meant to say this on a podcast when we were talking about K-pop demon hunters, but I forgot to. Zoe's character was saying how she's too much for everybody and she needs to tone it down and she's, annoying and all these things. And like, when I saw that, I cried really hard because I was like, that's how I felt so much of my life. I've always felt like I'm too much. And even like when I do stand in my kitchen and I talk for 40 minutes, I'm like, God damn it. Like, what could you have even said? Like to me, I'm just like, I don't know why I do it. I really don't. And I know I'm a yapper and I appreciate that people want to hear what I have to say, but also like, I do often feel like, oh my God, that's too much. It's too much. But it's something that I've worked a lot on with myself. And honestly, I just have the best husband in the world who like thinks it's the cutest thing in the world. I'm always like, oh my God, how did I feel myself talking for 40 minutes? He's like, no, it was really good. Like, it's really sweet. So I don't know why. I just brought that up because that was something I wanted to mention. But if you feel that way about yourself, I have felt it. I feel it still now sometimes, but I've been able to surround myself with like people who appreciate all the yapping, even if they're not always listening, even if they tune in and out, that's also okay. Just a warm body is all I need. I'm just kidding. Anyways, I don't even know how I got into that tangent, but I've been in a really good place. I'm really happy. And I had some things recently happen that I thought we could talk about that might be interesting. First off, I did see my PCOS doctor since the last time that we had a solo, and I talked about how I was going to update you guys. And I believe in the last solo episode, I mentioned how I was going to go talk to our doctor, or my doctor in general, because I just do checkups in general. But also I wanted to tell her about our new birth plan, there is a world where Cal and I potentially might want to move up our birth plan or have a baby sooner than when I first went in. When I first went in to see my PCOS doctor, I went in June 2023, and for one of the first questions, she was like, okay, so fertility planning, when do you want to have a baby? And I was like, I don't know, like maybe this time, I don't know. But I was like, not even like somewhat near the forefront of my brain. And she was like, okay, cool. So she's got that written on my file, obviously. And then I've been seeing her, and obviously you guys know I love her, and she's changed my life in so many ways. I actually just saw her a couple days ago, and when I went in and she came in, I love her so much, and she's like, how have you been? And I was like, okay, I just have to say something, because I was like, I vlogged it this morning and I want to tell you, I was like, I'm so grateful for you, because I've been able to have the best year of my life because of her. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I've been able to stay up at my wedding. I've been able to make it through my bachelor trip. I've been able to travel to do the Simply Pop tour. I've been able to film as much as I've been able to film, and edit as much as I've been able to edit, and post as much as I've been able to post, because I have energy. Because it's not like in 2023 when I was sleeping all night, waking up, eating breakfast, going back to sleep until like the afternoon, and then being tired and lethargic all day. I was like, I've been able to live this life because of the help that you've given me, and I'm so grateful. And she was just so sweet. We had this like little love fest for a minute, and then she was like, okay, let's get to it. So birth plan, are we still on track for what you initially wanted? And I was like, actually, that's something I wanted to bring up. I think we want to move up the birth plan. And she was like, okay, amazing. And she's like, what are you thinking? And I was like, look, here's the thing. I would love, between us, I think I would have loved to have gotten pregnant in my dream world end of this year, early next year. I think that would have been my dream situation. The only thing is, as you guys know, as I said, we're in a rental house, and I do not want to move when I'm pregnant, and I do not want to move when I'm like newly postpartum. Those are the two things. And she was like, as a mom, if I can tell you anything, I think that's an amazing plan. And I was like, okay, great. Good to know. So I was like, honestly, I don't know then, because I don't know when we're going to move and I don't know what's happening. But all I know is we're going to start trying once we do move, once I feel settled and I feel good. She said, amazing. So we started talking about that. And then I did my ultrasound, which we'll do an ultrasound every other time I go in or so. And she takes the stick, lubes it up, puts in a glove, literally like the thumb of a glove on there, and then shoves it up in me. And I've talked about this before, but I think this time really affected me. I think maybe just because we're like talking about babies more, and we had like a more in-depth conversation about, you know, family planning, and like it's starting to feel more realistic. And so when we do my ultrasound, we look at my ovaries. And so when you have PCOS, and I'm still learning, and I'm going to try to not spread misinformation. Please no. I'm trying to reiterate what she said. Also, she is going to come on the podcast, and she's amazing. She's so sweet, and I love her so much. So she'll like literally shift. It's so uncomfortable, you guys. She's shifting this plastic stick inside of me, and it's just like, it's such a weird feeling. But you literally look at your ovaries, and on your ovaries, you have follicles. And she's described to me that PCOS, it looks like a pearl necklace. Like they're like, do, 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 do. And so what she told me is that when you don't have PCOS, when you are just ovulating and you don't have any sort of like hormonal issues like that, one of your follicles will be like bigger, because that's the egg dropping. And when we looked at mine were all the same size. And she was basically saying like, this is how you can see that you have PCOS, because they're all, and it's always just so crazy to me to like tangibly with my own eyes, physically see what has caused all of these problems for me in my life. Like I've struggled with my weight my whole life, and like it's because of my PCOS, my hormonal imbalances, and it's caused so many like, you know, internal struggles, external struggles, my weight, my hair, my acne, like all of these things have been caused because of my PCOS. And it's just these little, like literally seeing it on it, I'm like, fuck you, little circles. It's so annoying. And it's kind of like emotional too. And so she's showing it to me and I'm like, yep, there they are. Obviously I've done the ultrasound, so I've seen it before, but I'm just like, there those little fuckers are. And then we finished the ultrasound and we kind of were talking and we realized that, and we did previous blood work too. We do like intensive blood work every time. Like we're always, not every time, but we do it so we can like go through all my levels. And like, that's how she prescribes my supplements to me also, so that I'm obviously taking supplements that I should for my deficiencies and things like that. But, from my blood work that we last did, we found out that my progesterone is low. And so obviously you have estrogen, obviously you have testosterone, and then you also have progesterone. And she was explaining to me that progesterone is the hormone, naturally mine is low. It's the hormone that will basically, it helps a lot with pregnancy and will help like support the baby. And so in so few words, she told me that had I got pregnant at the level of which my progesterone is naturally, I would have like almost definitely miscarried. And it made me sad because like so much of my, and I know I talk about this all the time and it's my MO, this is my brand, but it made me really sad because I was just thinking about, I get jealous a lot of women who, you know, naturally, if, you know, get their period at the very least and like don't have to worry about ovulation and don't have to worry about even like pregnancy aside, just like knowing when to expect it, not experiencing like such painful menstrual cycles when you do have it. Like someone as a planner like me, like I like to know when to expect things, and just like the unknowingness that I've dealt with my whole life of like not knowing when a period's coming and like being so fully unprepared because I had one a year at the most. Honestly, like even the trauma of like not knowing how to put a tampon in, I know like that story's really funny, but like I always felt so like behind because I didn't go through those things. And like in a world, obviously not getting a period that frequently, like not bleeding and like having to deal with that once a month for a long time, like yes, sounds great. But like when you really think about like the actual, you know, issues that you've dealt with, all to say, I got really, really emotional because I'm so grateful. And I literally just like gave her a hug and I was like, I'm so grateful for you, because I started to freak out where she was telling me like, okay, this is low. And now we're going to start tracking your ovulation and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And she starts giving me a list of like things that we're going to change within my routine. We did change my GLP-1. I am like getting to a point where we're going to start weaning off of it, or like I'm starting a new process and then eventually one day I will fully wean off of it. So that's really exciting. I'm so grateful for all the medicine and things that I've been able to have access to, and just the doctor that I have access to. I'm so grateful for everything. And I was so grateful in that moment to have someone who can help me so much through all this, when for years I had no one. But also I definitely felt a lot for like little Remi. I felt a lot for the universe, the multiverse, where I got pregnant naturally and she said I would have like, you know, most likely had a miscarriage. And it's so weird. And I don't know if this is again my morbid brain, but I know miscarriages are a lot more common for women than like, I really do think it's so cool that so many more women are speaking out about having miscarriages, and they are a lot more common than you think, and people are feeling more comfortable to talk about it to hopefully make people not feel as alone. But I always, you know, going through my PCOS and things, I always thought like if I get pregnant, I could definitely see a world where I miscarry. Like I could totally see all of that happening, just because I didn't feel like I had the right doctor. And there's still a world obviously where I do, and not wishing that upon anyone or on myself, but it's just like a very plausible thing that could happen. And so anyways, I'm just getting like super hyper emotional in this doctor's office, and I'm just like feeling very overwhelmed. I'm feeling sad for myself. I'm feeling grateful. I just felt like so many different emotions all at one time. And then I just look at her, because she's kind of just like telling me a lot of information. And I just look at her and I was like, is this normal? I was like, am I going to be okay? And she was like, oh my God, this is so normal. She's like, so many of her patients, she's a PCOS specialist, obviously, but like, she's like, so many of my patients deal with this. And she's like, and don't worry, like when you do want to start trying, like we have the plans in place. Like we're getting you ahead, which I feel like for 2.5 years, I've been getting ahead of, you know, the day that I decide that I want to start trying. But she really calmed me down when I was feeling so anxious and like overwhelmed with everything and the thoughts in my head. And I think just like the idea of like miscarriage, like really, you know, hearing that it could have been such a plausible, almost like definitive thing made me really sad. So all that to say, I'm so grateful for her and the plan that we have in place. And I am doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I also came home and I was like kind of frustrated with, not with Cal, but just like the trials and tribulations of being a woman. There are so many things that I have on my to-do list now from my doctor that I like, homework that I went home with, that I'm like, I got to start taking this. I got to change this. I got to do this. I got to work out. I got to do this. I got to do that. Da, 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 da. And I came home and Cal was like, well, actually Cal met me for a date and he's like, how did everything go? And I'm like telling him everything. And I'm like, I don't think you have any homework. I think you just got to show up and have some fun and then that'll be done. So I definitely was like, it's so annoying. It's just the life of a woman.
Layering makeup over acne-prone skin is one of the most frustrating things ever. Like, you spend time doing your skincare routine, and then the second you put on foundation, it just highlights every bump, every dry patch. And that's why I'm actually really excited about Curology's newest product. It's called Day Prime. It's the first ever prescription acne treatment and primer in one. If you've ever used Curology before, you already know they've treated over 5.5 million patients across the country, which is wild. And it's not just about acne. They also help with aging, hair loss, and all the random little things that pop up in your skin as you get older. What I love most is that you get access to licensed dermatologist providers who actually take time to look at your photos, listen to your skin goals, and prescribe a formula that's personalized for you. And they're available anytime. Day Prime gives that instant filler effect literally in one swipe, but it's also working underneath to help clear your skin over time. Curology's dermatology providers select 3 active ingredients that are specifically chosen for your skin goals. For example, they might include azelaic acid to gently exfoliate and brighten, niacinamide to soothe inflammation and fade dark spots, or salicylic acid to go deep into your pores and clear out oil and dead skin cells. My makeup actually stays put for up to 12 hours. And just so you know, in a study with people using the Day Prime base, it was shown to immediately reduce shine and improve look of pores, texture, and redness. All their products are dermatologist tested, non-comedogenic, non-acnegenic, dye-free, paraben-free, vegan, cruelty-free, and never tested on animals. In just a few minutes, you'll share your current skin concerns and a few photos with a Curology dermatology provider who will create a personalized treatment plan tailored to your unique skin goals. This will include Day Prime RX if it's right for your unique skin. Go to Curology.com/prettybasic to get your first bottle of Day Prime for free when you subscribe. All you need to pay is $5.45 for shipping and handling. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. This episode is sponsored by Cotton.
You guys know I love anything soft, and I've been paying way more attention to the fabrics that I'm wearing, especially for those comfy staples. I mean, I did say that if I was a sunny angel, I'd be one wearing a sweatshirt and leggings, as we know, but I am also here for all those cozy nights in when the AC is blasting and you just want to curl up in something soft. Needless to say, comfy staples are pretty much my brand and very on brand for me.
Same. This is why we're best friends. And honestly, I had no idea how much synthetic stuff I was wearing until I was, started checking tags. I was so surprised to see how many pieces that I thought were natural were actually loaded with synthetics. And guess what? My favorite pair of jeans were actually 100% cotton.
I just want fabrics that feel good on my skin. Cotton is natural and breathable. It's truly my favorite fabric to wear. It's perfect for those hot days when you still want to look cute and stay comfortable. I threw on a cotton tank the other day and it felt like the perfect weight. Not too heavy, not too thin.
And it's not just about comfort, it's about durability. I have some cotton tees and hoodies that still look great after so many washes. Meanwhile, some of the other synthetic pieces pill or stretch just after a few wears, and cotton actually holds up and keeps its shape.
That matters, especially when you're investing in those classic pieces, a good pair of jeans, a go-to hoodie, or that perfect oversized tee that should last and not fall apart after one season.
Cotton is also gentle on the skin, which is huge for me. I get irritated easily, especially when it's hot and sticky outside. Cotton just feels good, whether you are lounging on the couch, running errands, or hanging out by the pool.
Learn more about the benefits of cotton products for yourself, your style, and your space at thefabricofourlives.com. I will say something else that came up in the appointment that I really appreciated was she asked me, we're doing the normal doctor stuff. She's asking me birth plan. She's asking, normal with my doctor. Birth plan, we're going through my supplements that I'm taking, all those things. And then she's like, okay, how's your workouts been? And I haven't seen her since before the wedding, before the move, before so much stuff has happened this summer. And I was like, I've been really bad. And she goes, no, we're not going to use that word. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. I was like, no, I'm like, thank you so much. I was like, I was really on it. I wasn't saying this to her, but just between you and I was really, really on it. I was in such a good routine. And then honestly, I've just been tired and busy and all these things, and I haven't been prioritizing it. So I told her, I was like, I haven't been doing anything. I've been really, I haven't done much. And she's like, that's okay. She's like, that's life. She wants me to start trying to work out twice a week. I will say I walk every day, but like heavy weights. She wants me to do heavy weights, Pilates, things like that. So I was like, yes, 2 times a week. I can absolutely do that. I think that's very attainable and, a good place for me to start. And she was really sweet. She's just like, we're not going to use the word bad to describe that. She's like, that's life. And you got married and you were busy and that's okay. And I so appreciated that. And I was kind of like mad at myself because I've done so much work to not call not working out bad, if that makes any sense. Like I've done so much unlearning of diet culture. I've done so much unlearning of thinking what quote unquote good is and what quote unquote bad is. And I feel like in that moment I was really, I didn't grow in that moment, or I like lost all my progress that I've made. But what I said to my vlog after is I was like, it was a good reminder for me that like, yes, I do revert sometimes. Like I still have to remind myself sometimes, like there is no good, there is no bad. It's just like neutral. And every day is a new opportunity to try to grow and be a better version of yourself. But also like sometimes I do go back, and sometimes like I do have bad ideas of like diet culture in my head still. And like I didn't like overcome this, and then like I'm never thinking that way again. But it was just a good reminder that I do still have a ways to grow. And I am working on it, and I am going to try to move my body more. And I just really appreciated her kind of like energy and her response to that, because I think that's exactly what I needed in that moment. And then I went to my car, and then I had this like, I was just overcome with a lot of emotions. I was like stressed, and I was anxious, and I was overwhelmed, and I was sad, and I was excited, and I was grateful, and I was just all these things all at once. And yeah, that's what happened to my doctor's appointment. I know that was very long, but that's the update. All I know is I've got my list of homework that I've got to do, and I'm working on it very slowly. And I'm just trying to be the best version of myself, to put myself in the best position, to be the healthiest version of myself, to be the healthiest vessel for a baby. And that's that. I'm so grateful and hopeful for the future. And I literally got in my car, and although I was overcome with so many emotions, also I think I was just about to PMS. I really think that's what it was. I am so blessed. I called my mom, kept her updated, called my aunt, got her updated. I went to lunch with Cal and was able to just like really lean on him for all the support and things that I need. And he is the best husband in the world. And also was able to, text all my friends and keep them updated, and everyone just like is the best support system. And I also called Kay because, we're in kind of like that same-ish era of our lives, or we're just married, and it's really fun to be on a similar-ish, we're not sure, timeline with my best friend. But that also kind of starts into the next conversation that I wanted to have, I guess, just like friendships in general, or like internet friendships and real life friendships and kind of all those sorts of things. And I'm not here to like dispel any rumors, because I honestly don't know the rumors and I don't want to know the rumors. But someone like Kay, obviously Kay has been much more prevalent in my content lately because of the wedding and the bachelorette and just the bridal shower. And like, I'm so grateful for the wedding specifically, or like all the wedding events, because it brought me so much closer to all of my friends. I literally said this the morning of my wedding, obviously aside from the fact that I got to marry the love of my life and I have the best husband in the world, and it got me closer with my family, it brought me closer with my new in-laws. At the same time, also, I was really shocked by how much closer I got to so many people in my life because of the wedding and because of all the activities, like the bachelorette. Obviously, I'm saying my friends because there's so many events and things that were just like my friends and I, my bachelorette, my bridal shower, things like that. And Kay is someone who's been in my life we just celebrated 15 years. I'm actually going to be honest. Kay and I made a pact at some point that we wanted to have babies. I think when we were 15, we made a pact, like, let's have our babies at the same time. And actually we're like, let's get married at the same time. Let's be each other's maids of honor. Let's have our husbands be best friends. And then let's have babies together. Like we literally said that when we were 15. And like, honestly, a lot was lining up, you guys. Like we were each other's maid and matron of honor. Our husbands love each other. We got married around the same time. We're like, our plan is like scarily going according to plan. Like this is kind of crazy. And so we were talking about like, okay, similar timeline. When are we thinking of having babies? And I actually called her after and I was like, hey, the doctor's appointment. I was like, hey, I'm just like letting you know, I am going to be further along on the timeline than we wanted. I hope you understand. And she was like, Rem, we do not have to stick to a timeline or a pact that we made when we were 15 for like the biggest thing in life you could do. She was like, I love you. I'm not changing my plan because of you. You don't change your plan because of me. Like, whatever happens, happens. And I just so appreciated it. But she is like the best person in my life. I love her so much. She's such a good friend. And I always talk about how she is so grounding for me. And I think it's really cool how much you guys love her, because obviously I love her so much. My parents love her so much. My mom and dad always go, she was always our favorite friend growing up, of course. Something I appreciate about Kay is she will keep me so grounded. And in this world of what could be very vapid at times and can just be so ridiculous and chaotic and just like pure entertainment, she will always bring me back down to earth when I'm like starting to whether it was like spiral about something before or just like something was, going off. She would literally come to LA sometimes just to hear like what was going on like in the influencer world. And she'd be like, this is so crazy. Now I'm going to go home and teach some third graders and like go back to my normal life. And she was so funny. But what I really appreciate about Kay is how obviously she is a teacher. She is the best teacher. She's been a teacher for so long and her kids are so lucky to have her. And teachers are underpaid and underappreciated and deserve so much more. And we need to be so much more grateful and supportive of our teachers. What I love so much about her is, look, obviously this job is so fun. I always say it. This job is not hard. This job is like so glamorous and like honestly dumb a lot of the times. And when I complain to her about something that's going on in my life, I'm also like, I can't complain. I'm sorry. Like, I understand that I should not complain to her at all. And in that way also, like, that does ground me a lot of times where things like will get to my head or like things feel so much bigger than they are. And like there are actual real problems going on. What I appreciate about Kay is I am aware that my influencer problems are not real problems and that, she just likes to hear it for like, she wants to be supportive, obviously, but also it is like silly and like entertaining. She also will always remind me, Rem, and I know she worries about me. What does she tell me? Let me call her.
Hello?
Hi, you're on the Pretty Basic podcast.
Oh my gosh.
I have a question. I was talking about how much I love you and how you really ground me and remind me that all my influencer problems are not real problems. But can you tell the podcast, because I was trying to quote you and I couldn't quote it properly. What is it when you tell me where it's like, no one is supposed to know, or like no one is supposed to have that many opinions about you? What do you always say to me?
The way that humans exist, we were meant to grow up in a village. So you were supposed to only know like a maximum of 100 people in your whole life. Mm-hmm. So nobody is supposed to experience this many opinions about anyone. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Is that like is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
So like when you have a million people nitpicking every single thing about you, it's just unnatural.
Yes.
And of course you're going to like start, I don't know, thinking negatively about yourself if you keep hearing it from way more people.
Yes. You ate, girl. Love you.
Thanks, love you.
Bye. Love you, bye. And that's how Sue sees it. No, I'm just kidding. No, she really does remind me of that. And what I so appreciate is I'm aware influencer problems are not real problems. And she has real problems as an actual teacher raising America's youth and doing a great job at it. But whenever she says that to me, I really do appreciate, because it does put into perspective like how jarring it is to receive so many opinions about myself, or also even like watching the Vanilla Mace thing. Like, as I said earlier, it's like, if you don't like it, just turn it off. Like, I actually genuinely worry for the person making the TikTok more than Vanilla Mace. Vanilla Mace is fine. She's crushing it. She's got her old fairy donuts and her sunny angels, and she's amazing. The person that's making the TikTok, I'm more of just like, oh my gosh, I hope they're okay. They're obviously not in a good place to be feeling that way about someone, / also then making a public TikTok about it and sharing it with people and wanting people to engage with that, to feel validated in that. Like that's more so what I'm like, I hope that they're okay. And I want them to be happy, because a happy person wouldn't make that content. And I do have hope that they will be happy. And maybe one day they'll be like, oh, maybe I don't like that I did that, or I regret making that. I don't know. But I don't know. All that to say, I love Kay so much. I'm surrounded by so many amazing friends and real life friends. I have people that I've grown up with that have known me since before I ever did, YouTube and content and everything. I'm actually going to a wedding next month. I'm so excited it's one of my high school friends getting married. And so a bunch of my high school friends are going to be there who I haven't seen in so long. So I'm excited to be with them again. And I'm just like, I'm really, really excited about all of that. And then I also think it's interesting though, because I see, obviously, I'm surrounded by so many other influencers, and whether it's people that have come on the podcast, I will say we've been very lucky that like every person that's come on this podcast has been incredibly sweet. Like, please know, we've never had anyone that we're like, ugh, when they leave. Everyone's been so nice and like so normal. Even like Megan Trainor and Ashley Tisdale and Madison Beer, like all of my queens, like they were all so normal and down to earth. But obviously being in LA and being around so many influencers and doing this for so long, and like seeing a lot of other podcasts and like being around other influencers, like being on other influencers podcasts and things, there are definitely some people that are not how they seem online. And I'm not going to name any names, but sometimes it's very jarring, because it's crazy how me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, can sometimes like fall for that facade. Because sometimes I'm like, sometimes like a camera will pause like in the middle of a podcast and you're like, they change to a different person when the camera's off. Like, I've actually fully experienced that. And you're like, and then the camera comes back on, because with Canon cameras at 29 minutes, it like 29 minutes and 59 seconds, it shuts off, and then you have to restart the camera. So sometimes when that happens and they like change, you're literally like, wait, what? But I do have to say, all of my friendships in my life and like the friendships you guys see on my vlogs and everything, like sometimes I definitely regret being so open about all my friends, because obviously, which I love sharing, I don't regret it by any means. Sometimes I do, like when I'm in the thick of it, but like I've been authentically myself and very open about my friends and my family and everything since the day that I started these channels. And not everybody's in my life anymore. Not for any, sometimes obviously like a dramatic friendship breakup. Sometimes we just drift. Sometimes like whatever the reason is, but like everybody obviously goes through that. But what Kay said, obviously being online and having so many people have opinions on me and my friends, and liking some friends more than other friends, and having opinions about these people and my relationships, and oh my God, they looked at each other like this, and la 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 la, all those things. Obviously, when I go through those friendship breakups, which are super natural, I'm sure everybody watching this has gone through some sort of friendship breakup in your life, then you know what I'm talking about. But, obviously having people speculate in things can sometimes be hard. It is hard. And there's literally no one in my life that I'm no longer friends with that I would ever wish ill will upon. I hope that they're happy. I hope that they're thriving. I'm so grateful for the season or seasons that we had, but obviously we just had to go our separate ways, whether it was my choice, their choice, mutual choice, whatever it is. But I will say, I feel so lucky to be surrounded by so many amazing people and friends, even in the influencer space, because I haven't always had that experience. I love Alicia Marie to death. That's my ride or die. That's my sister. Zayn and Heath are amazing, just such kind, good-hearted people. Every single influencer, like I feel like I low-key had like an influencer wedding, but like every person that was at my wedding, I love and Cal loves so much. They're all just like good, nice, down-to-earth, normal people. And I feel very lucky that I live in LA and I still get to say that and like mean it with my full chest, and like so much to the point that I'm like, please come to the biggest event of our lives. Like, I want you there. I want to see you when I'm walking down the aisle. I want to party with you. I want to like celebrate with you. Like I just feel really lucky and blessed that like I have had this experience with so many influencers, because not all of them are who they portray themselves to be. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the ramblings of my brain, and I don't even know if I made sense, to be honest, but don't forget to buy my cookbook, Let's Get Cooking, link down below. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.